In 1937, a specific German guy who didn't have a lot of good art, Adolf Ziegler, not to be confused with another German guy that didn't have a lot of good art, Adolf Hitler, ordered a degenerate exhibition to show paintings of art movement that Nazis didn't like. Cubists, Surrealists, and Expressionists were on a long list of movements that were considered propaganda of people they hated and wanted to destroy their taste. That hate wasn't just expressive. As all dictatorships like to do, they started compromising people's lives, most famously Ernst Ludwig Kirchner. Kirchner was a German painter and one of the founding fathers of Die Brücke, the Expressionist group. What he liked to show, like most expressionists, was feelings over figure. He was trying to capture how New Berlin of his time is appearing through his lens of a tired and afraid eyes. But like we established before, Nazi Germany didn't like that. It was tampering with the picture they were trying to draw of Germany. And because of that, they took 600 of his works out of museums, and some of them were even put in the degenerate art exhibition, and that took a mental toll on him. That ended with him ending his life by himself, alone in Davos, the city he escaped to from his own people. And that wasn't only a Nazi thing. Fascists hated all type of alternative arts that didn't salute to their narratives. Take, for example, Italy. In the same time period, unlike the German, they took a bit more elegant approach, if we can say that. They defunded whatever they didn't like, and thus was born Novecento Italiano, which leaned toward picturing the Roman imperial nostalgia in a classical order. Movements of avant-garde, with time and their approaches, were heavily marginalized, and the people who didn't comply were, as mentioned, defunded and prohibited from exhibiting the art. And in Spain, where my favorite club was still fighting Franco's team, the same Franco was strictly censoring through law. Catalan, Basque, and Galician artistic expression were banned. Not only that, but their language and culture too. Thousands of artists were executed, imprisoned, or forced into exile, like Josep Bernal, who was a painter that supported the Spanish Republic and believed art should speak. During the Civil War, he designed the posters for the Republic. He founded with others the magazine of Nueva Cultura, focusing on promoting a new modern and intellectual culture. Not just that, but even commissioned Picasso to make Guernica, the work that would be known as the most anti-fascist work of the 20th century. And by the end of the war, Franco has had enough of him. He was exiled outside of Spain, living his life in Mexico and then East Germany till he died. And even Picasso's Guernica that he commissioned didn't return home till Franco died. However, after seeing all the past images, let me play the devil's advocate and ask the question on your mind. The art that the fascists supported was more eye-pleasing, so it is better and should be the one supported, right? No. What I want you to know is that this was chosen on purpose. It is designed not to express but to convince. Think of Napoleon. When you think of him, most people will remember him on his mighty horse conquering the land of vodka and love. But in reality, he wasn't a sad donkey. But the image in your mind when you first think of him is gonna be the first one and not the second. That is the exact thing that fascism wants to do. To convey clear messages to the people, to not let them use their minds on anything. The movements the fascists were fighting did have a meaning, but it wasn't totally controlled. While within the confines of the idea, meaning was still open-ended, and so more relatable to each person. That still separates them from what we see today of no meaning conveyance at all. To put it in simple words, the reason behind that is their hatred of freedom. The freedom of expression, to be exact. The choice to express creativity, imagination, and emotions of oneself against their demagogic thoughts, instead of doing what they want. Total control. Just like an orange does with the ice cubes, don't you think? As freedom of the people will always lead to disobedience. So they try to extinguish the creative fire and dry the culture well. But no matter how long they try and how many times they want to fight, they will always lose at the end, as no one can forever silence the indomitable human spirit. Men might die, but nonetheless, never would their ideas.